And here we go. The car is all packed up with all the parts, ready to do the 5-lug conversion. Go ahead and show you a little bit more here. So I packed everything here in the Fox. Got one of the wheels and put some plastic down to protect the seat. But I got the other 3 wheels back here. See that? Fit everything in here. Of course, the box there has the axles, but I got the spindles, and I got the spindles up here in the front seat area and the foot area. I got all the other parts, the calipers, everything's packed in back here. So we'll be heading to the shop here shortly to get this process started. Just want to show you here that it's all packed up and ready to go.
Hey YouTube, welcome to the Donnie D channel. We're here again for another Mustang video, and finally we're going to be tackling the Fox Body Mustang doing the 5-lug conversion. So we're here again in Wes's shop. Many thanks to him for letting me do pretty much all my projects in his garage. And so we're going to hear all the parts laid out for the Fox Body Mustang. We're doing a 5-lug conversion all the way around and some suspension goodies as well. So let's take a look at what we're going to be working with here. We got some 94, 95 Mustang spindles that already have dust shields installed. And these are necessary to do your 5-lug swap to doing Cobra brakes. We have, of course, the calipers and brackets, the brake lines, the rear axles, and we've got the Bilstein. We're going with Bilstein here. The front struts, the rear shocks. We've got the wheel studs. I'm going to be going with 3-inch wheel studs because I do plan on putting some drag slicks on the back of the car when I drag race it. Of course, we got our associated hardware, lug nuts, stuff like that. And of course, we got our 13-inch Cobra front brake rotors. And then under that, we got some 5-lug drums. I am going to be doing the discs in the front and then the drums in the rear still. We're going to see how that feels. And then, of course, if I do want to swap my rear end to do disc brakes down the road, I can. So let's go ahead and get started tackling this job.
I just keep thinking of stupid shit. I just want to give a shout out to Banana Republic, and then they just keep moving. Why? Why am I watching this? What's that
Okay, we took the original brake caliper and rotor off. Now we're taking the factory dust shield off. What that does give us access to the bottom bolt here. Since none of this stuff gets reused, you can just take it off. You can take it off as one unit, but this just makes it easier. Alright, getting the strut nut and bolt out.
This one's been on there a little while.
Yeah. That's that. On to spoiler bar and link and the tie rod. Got the strut out of the way. Now on to the factory spindle bolt.
That one also has been on there for a while.
And now we're on to beating the old spindle off the ball joint. Having an impact definitely helps speed along the rusted bolt and nut removal process. Creativity, but we got the new spindle on. We had to it came with a spacer, but it wasn't big enough, so we improvised with a couple thick washers. Now the spindle's on nice and tight. We impacted it on there so it's not going anywhere. Now it's pretty much buttoning everything else up, getting the spindle lined up, getting the tie rod end lined up so it's closer to being where I can drive it
you know, forward and backwards. Of course, it'll need alignment. But yeah, we're almost done with this side. Here's pretty much our end result for the driver's side. Got pretty much everything buttoned up. I'm gonna put a wheel on it to kind of see where we are with the adjustment of the outer tie rod. Yeah, I think that's gonna look cool. Well guys, it's night one. It's about 11:30 at night, and we're getting there. We're on to the passenger side now, so let's get to it. All right guys, getting the passenger side all buttoned up. Gonna go ahead and tighten up the new strut to the new spindle, and we'll be throwing the rotor and caliper and everything on. And yeah, we're getting there. Front end's almost done. That's all she wrote.
Donnie, did everything work out perfectly?
Some alternate universe they did. But tonight, for us, little issues running into when playing with a 25-year-old car, 27-year-old car, or however old it is.
What did we have to alter?
Everything. No, actually we had to alter brake bracket here. These brake brackets, we had to make the holes bigger so that way the brake lines can actually go through them. Alright guys, it's day 2. So on this quest for parts. We need to find a spot that can press in my wheel studs, and we need to get some fluids and so on and so forth. So the adventure begins on day 2. Alright, Wes is going after the lower shock bolts right now. We got the rear wheels off. Get ready to swap out the 4 lug drums to the 5 lug drums. So now we should be able to get on a roll with this, with the back end of the car. And we got the rear diff cover coming off, fluid draining out. Here it comes. Look at that. Alright. Get all the fluid out, then we just get ready to take these axles out. Look at there it is.
It's so satisfying.
Wes is doing his favorite part. He is filling up the rear end with fluid.
Boy, this is fun.
There's no sarcasm in that answer. Oh, well guys, the Fox is done. There it is. But boy, was it an experience, let me tell you. So, I didn't get as much video as I wanted to, mostly out of my sheer frustration for the car, and it was pretty much all hands on deck to get it finished by yesterday, really, because I was spending way too much time on it. The install just did not go as smoothly as I originally planned, but let's go and take a look at it. There it is with the 98 Cobra wheels on it. Some more shots of that. Cobra brakes behind it. You can see them there. I like the brakes. First of all, let me talk about the brakes. There is a big difference. Again, I kept the drums in the rear of the car, but I did do the Cobra up front, and of course everything's 5 lug now. So nice thing is I have many more wheel options in case the 98 Cobra wheels get old to me. I do like them.
There is a lot of silver on my car. Let me know what you guys think about those. Is it too much silver? Do I need to break it up again with like an anthracite color like I had on my 10th anniversary wheels? Or should I maybe look into something else? It hasn't really settled in my mind yet. But in regards to braking, man, the pedal, like, you have a little bit of a give. The car starts slowing down, but if you need to actually really stop, if you give it a little bit of pressure and they just want to stop, they want to, like, they don't want to lock up, but they will put you they will get you to stop. Suspension wise, Bilstein stuff. Oh my god, this car rides so much better now. Even though the alignment is way off, I need to go take it to the alignment shop and get an alignment. But the Bilstein shocks and struts, oh man, I was surprised at how good this car felt driving, even with the alignment being out of whack. And with the H&R Super Sport springs, this car just feels so much different now. So the Bilstein's almost a must if your car rides like crap and you're wanting to upgrade the suspension a little bit. Bilstein's A+. They just feel so good. A lot less bouncy, and when I hit a bump, the car doesn't bottom out anymore. The car will just take it and it'll kind of go over it. You can still feel a little bit jolt, but it doesn't just bang the car. So it's really quite nice. I had a problem with one of the spindles in regards to the passenger side spindle. I bought the spindles off an eBay store, and I'm gonna have to give them a failing grade. They probably deal with a lot of customers, but I'm sorry. One of the wheel studs was broken. It was not seated into the wheel hub properly, so it doesn't get tight. So I gotta go get to my mechanic's place and get that fixed. The starting splines on the wheel studs, 3 out of 5 of them were cut off. So what's up with that? Why would they be cut off? Why wouldn't they just be replaced with regular wheel studs? I don't get it. Driver's side spindle, everything assembled, perfect. Went on just fine. I had a little problem with some of my brake lines, getting the fittings loose because, again, it's an old car and it's in an Illinois car. So unfortunately, we did have to get a little creative with some of the brake lines. I did have to relocate a bracket so that way the brake hose from the Cobra caliper to the brake line wouldn't bind up when you're turning hard left or hard right. So I had to relocate that. Not a big deal, just another thing that we had to deal with. The factory Fox brackets for the brake line, the hard line, and the brake hose. The piece where the hose goes in so you can lock it in with a little clip, we had to hollow those out, round those out a little bit in order for it to fit. So that was another thing that kind of set us back a little bit. Let's see what else. The almighty, the passenger side, pretty much all the real issues started happening when we got to the passenger side of the car. The spindle, or I'm sorry, not the spindle, the tie rod, the outer tie rod was stuck. Now I mean stuck, it would not budge. When we got the lock nut loose, even that was a little tough, so we got the lock nut loose, and the driver's side actually unlocked pretty easily. Just a little bit of force, but we didn't put any heat to it or anything like that. We got it loose, and we're like, okay, great, so that means the other side's probably going to be just the same. Well, unfortunately, we had to fight a little bit, and we tried all kinds of different methods. Turns out the best method was we PB blastered it and let it sit overnight, and then the following day we ended up taking a torch to it and just laying the heat on the inner tie rod where the outer tie rod met. Just heated it up for probably a good 5 minutes, and when that thing was smoking and the thing was turning cherry red, we got the wrenches on it, and we finally broke it loose. It wasn't like it freed itself. It still was a little hard getting it over, but there was just so much corrosion, so much rust that kind of just built in over the years. We can tell that that tie rod was never replaced, and actually the outer tie rod is fine. Actually, the bushings and everything were fine. So yeah, you know, that was all good. It was just getting it loose, and once we got it loose, we saw the threads were fine. Thank God. So yeah, that was fine actually once we got all that done. And then the rear end actually went pretty straightforward. When you're putting fluid back into the differential, sometimes if you don't have the angle right to get the bottles up, you're just pretty much wasting a lot of fluid, which can be a pain in the ass. You know, you don't want fluid to get all over you. And a big thanks to my friend Wes for doing a lot of this work. We were trying to knock the job out as fast as possible since we already spent a long time on it. So our plan was for yesterday was just to hit it hard and knock it out quickly. Well, we got it done as quickly as we really could with the resources that we had. Again, we're not working on a lift, which probably would have made things a little bit easier. But you know, getting the fluid in, he would work on the rear end. I'd hand him parts. I'd hand him the tools. Jack the car up and down, put the shocks in, you know, we were just kind of all over the place, and I just didn't have a lot of time. I wanted to focus on getting the camera out and everything. So again, guys, I apologize for not getting a full-fledged like install video, step-by-step install video, or really a lot of coverage, mostly just because Wes and I were getting a little frustrated with the issues we ran into, and you know, it's to be expected with a car that's this old. And we just thought things would go a little smoother, and when they didn't, you know, we were just more focused on getting it done than to get a video about doing the whole process. So guys, the install's done, but the video, I know it's not the most complete video, so I apologize. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let's get another scrolling shot of the Fox, and we'll see you next time. Take care.